coming up on Sports Night.
Football opens their season in their new home on Lake Michigan.
Field hockey begins their season with 8 straight wins.
And women's soccer looks to grab their first conference points of the season.
Mikey, Northwestern sports are finally back in Evanston.
And so are we, Anna. I thought the summer would never end.
Well, lucky for us it did, because it's Sports Night right now. Welcome back to Sports Night. I'm Anna Watson, joined by Mikey Capobianco.
Anna, it's great to be back in the Sports Night desk. We've got an exciting show tonight, and what better way to kick it off with football?
Northwestern kicked off the 2024 season by hosting Miami of Ohio at the brand new Northwestern Medicine Field on the lakefront. The Cats got on the board first with a Jack Olson field goal, but Miami was quick to respond with one of its own. The teams entered halftime locked at 3, but Mike Wright got things going for NU early in the third quarter with a 13-yard run to the end zone to take the lead. The Cats would not look back, finishing with a 13-6 win over the Redhawks. In Week 2, Northwestern hosted Duke, where the Blue Devils got off to an early lead thanks to a 16-yard touchdown pass from Malik Murphy. But Cam Porter took a 4-yard run to the house to put NU on top 10-7 at the half. The teams exchanged field goals throughout the second half before entering an overtime thriller, where Duke pulled away in the second overtime thanks to Eli Pankel's second touchdown reception. Northwestern dropped to 1-1, entering its matchup with Eastern Illinois.
Jack Lausch gets ready for his first career start at quarterback in the Wildcats' Week 3 matchup against the Eastern Illinois Panthers. Towards the end of the first quarter, Cam Porter takes the snap, cuts to the outside, and steps into the end zone. Wildcats up 7-0. Eastern Illinois scored a touchdown of their own, but with 13 seconds left in the half, Joseph Hyman II dashes down the field past the entire Panthers defense. Northwestern heads to the locker room up 14-7. Off of a Devin Turner interception, Lausch drops back and finds A.J. Henning for the touchdown. The grad student's first score of the season comes with his own celebration in the end zone. Take a look at those dance moves. Eastern Illinois looking for a comeback down 17, but it's the Wildcat D-line that steps up. Dylan Roberts gets his first sack of his career. Jack Lausch steps up later in the game, slings it downfield, and finds Henning again. He gets quite a good chunk of yardage after the catch, this time for a 46-yard pickup, the longest reception of his 5-year career. Lausch rolling out, he's got Henning there yet again for 9 yards. Henning caught all 7 of his targets in the game for a career-high 117 yards on the day. And Lausch looking to add to his team's lead, and there's Marshall Lang in the back of the end zone with a toe-tap catch. Northwestern with an impressive 31-7 win thanks to Jack Lausch's dominant performance in the second half. He went 11 for 11 to end the game and secure a big-time win on the lake for the Wildcats.
Next up for the Cats was a trip out west to Washington for the team's first Big Ten matchup of the season. Northwestern had not played Washington since 1984 and was looking for the program's first win ever over the Huskies. Early in the first quarter, Washington looking to strike first, Will Rogers drops back and throws a dime over the middle to Denzel Boston. A 46-yard touchdown gives the Huskies the early advantage. Washington would add a field goal early in the second quarter, but they didn't stop there. Rogers finds Boston again, this time for a 13-yard touchdown to give the Huskies a 3-score lead. Washington backed up all the way to their own 2-yard line. Rogers under pressure and he throws the ball away, but the refs come together and ruled intentional grounding, giving the Cats a safety. Jack Lausch in the offense looking to add on before the half. Lausch dances around in the pocket and fires one downfield, but is picked off by Carson Bruner. Bruner eventually runs out of bounds, but the Cats waste a golden opportunity and trail by 15 at the half. Second half now, Rogers under center and he fumbles the snap. Northwestern pounces on it and Xander Mueller comes up with the recovery. Northwestern gets the ball with great field position. And the Cats get the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line, but instead of going for it, they decide to settle for a chip shot field goal for their first offensive points of the day. Northwestern now down 24-5, 4th and goal at the 1. Lausch looking for A.J. Henning, but Henning cannot come down with the pass. Neither team would score the rest of the way, with the Huskies winning 24-5 and securing their first ever Big Ten Conference win.
Following the loss to Washington, Northwestern had a bye week this past Monday. Northwestern head coach David Braun hosted his weekly press conference. SportsNight very own Matt Saperstein was there to report on how the Wildcats spent their bye week.
On Monday, Northwestern football head coach David Braun addressed the media in his weekly press conference here at Walter Athletic Center ahead of Northwestern's Week 6 home matchup against number 23 Indiana. Northwestern is 2-2 on the season, and they're coming off of a bye week. Coach Braun said his team had 3 goals during the bye: prioritizing health, improving as a team, and getting ahead on prep for this week's matchup against a ranked Indiana team. In terms of health, Coach Braun updated the media on the injury status of 4 key players. Running back Cam Porter, who was scratched before the Washington game with a lower body injury, is trending in the right direction. This season, Porter is averaging 5.3 yards per carry with 234 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Northwestern is hoping to get their lead rusher back on Saturday. Left guard Nick Herzog should be back this week. He'll certainly bolster this Wildcat offensive line that has been struggling with injuries early on this season. Center Jack Bailey will not play against Indiana and is unlikely to return for the rest of the season. Lastly, captain and defensive tackle Carmine Bastone is doubtful this week due to what Braun described to be a finicky injury. Bastone has yet to play this season, but Braun said he's played a key leadership role for this team, even from the sidelines.
Never once has hung his head, has taken a very active leadership role, whether it be in meetings, practice, on the sideline during game day, has truly embodied that captain role.
Despite the injuries, Coach Braun noted the team had really competitive practices on Tuesday and Wednesday last week. He credited his players and their resiliency to put in the work and get better during their bye week.
I told him at the end of last week, we won this week. We set out to accomplish some goals, and we achieved those goals. But that doesn't happen everywhere in the country over a bye week, and it's a credit to our guys' response. And now the challenge is to have a great week of prep for Indiana and be at our best on Saturday.
Turning to Indiana, first-year head coach Curt Cignetti has completely turned this program around. The Hoosiers are off to their first 5-0 start since 1967, and their offense has been very explosive and efficient. They're the 3rd best scoring offense in the nation with 48.8 points per game, and they rank 3rd in terms of third down conversion percentage. This Indiana team is led by senior transfer Curtis Rourke at quarterback. Rourke is an incredibly accurate passer, and he's also great at getting the ball out quickly. He ranks 6th in the nation in terms of completion percentage with 1,372 passing yards and 11 passing touchdowns. If Northwestern wants a shot at upsetting this ranked Indiana team, they'll have to pressure Rourke early on.
The more that we can force him to process what he's seeing in the back half post-snap, the longer he should be required to hold on to the ball, which buys time for our pressure to truly affect him, and vice versa. The more that we can consistently get pressure, especially early in the game, and make him feel like he doesn't have a clean pocket to stand in, hopefully leads for opportunities for him to put the ball in some spaces that we can attack the football and create some takeaways.
There's a lot of excitement here in Evanston for Northwestern's first Big Ten home game on Saturday that kicks off at 2:30 p.m. Central. Our crew will be on the sidelines giving you updates from the game. Signing off from Walter Athletic Center, Matt Saperstein, NNN Sports.
Thanks, Matt. It's been a season of ups and downs for Northwestern, but they'll look to right the ship on Saturday afternoon when they host 23rd ranked Indiana.
When we come back, field hockey looks to build on an undefeated start to the season, and volleyball begins Big Ten play.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
ready, set, Yano.
Welcome back to Sports Night. While the football team has had its struggles, one Northwestern team has looked like one of the best in the country.
That's right, Anna. Field hockey got off to a tremendous 8-0 start to kick off their season, but some of their biggest tests came last weekend against two ranked foes. Second-ranked Northwestern field hockey took a weekend trip to face number 5 Maryland on Friday. Early in the game, the Wildcats' defense was not letting up, suppressing all of the Terrapins' attacks, even after a penalty corner opportunity. Just 10 minutes into the game, sophomore Ashley Sessa drew a penalty corner, and with just 2 passes, sophomore back Ilsa Tromp scored a goal for the Wildcats. This was not a one-off for Tromp's offensive success, as she led the game with 7 shots, 6 of which were on target. After the second quarter, grad student Annabelle Scoobies was the key to the Cats' stellar defense. The D1 Defensive Player of the Week stopped all 4 of Maryland's shots, earning her 8th shutout this season. And at the half, it was 1-0 Northwestern with a lead. Here we are in the third quarter, Northwestern with the ball in the corner, looking to extend on their lead to Maryland. The ball is put into play and the shot is no good. Coming back to the fourth quarter, 1-0 Northwestern still with their lead. Driving up the field, and it's close until the very end. 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter now. Chance for Northwestern to extend their lead. And here we are, 5 minutes to go. Another close contest here. Game has remained very close. The Wildcats continuing to fight through, and that'll be it. The final, Northwestern 1-0 over Maryland. As the game closed, the Wildcats held a 13-8 shot advantage, including 9-3 in the second half alone. Without landing a single goal in the game, the Terps lost for the 3rd time this season. The Cats haven't lost a game in 318 days and are looking for their 11th win on Friday against Rutgers.
On Sunday, field hockey traveled to New Jersey to take on number 16 Princeton in their 6th-ranked matchup of the season. Things started off quietly for the two teams until Princeton's Lydia Bills scored the game's first goal on Cats goalie Annabelle Scoobies midway through the first period. It was the first time number 2 Northwestern had trailed in a game all season long, and they were left to stew in it for over 25 minutes of game time. Finally, just 2 minutes out of halftime, sophomore Ashley Sessa came through with her 5th goal of the season to tie things at 1. Then less than a minute later, it would be Sessa again scoring, this time to give the Cats their first lead and one that they wouldn't relinquish. After Cats grad student Lauren Wattis was shown the yellow card, her teammates responded with yet another score, their 3rd in just over 2 minutes, this time off the stick of Olivia Bent-Cole. Princeton scored again in the 4th period to make things interesting, but that would be it for the Tigers. Northwestern takes this one 3-2.
Northwestern is looking to move to 11-0 against Rutgers on Friday at 3 p.m. on the Lake. Big Ten matchup for Northwestern. Wildcats hoping to start conference play on a high note. First set, Northwestern down 2, and Rylan Reed swings it down for Northwestern to get the point. Maryland still with a lead late in the set, but it's Sophia Summers keeping hope alive for Northwestern. Although it's not enough, as Samantha Schnitta powers one down and Maryland takes the first set by a score of 25-19. Fast forward towards the end of a very close second set, and it is a block party for Northwestern. Sophia Summers gets in on the action with a powerful block, and then gets another one minutes later. She helps Northwestern to a 25-22 set victory in the second to even up the match at 1 set apiece. Set 3 does not go Northwestern's way. They go down 2-1 in the match. But it's time for the Cats to battle back, and that is exactly what they do, grabbing an early 5-2 lead in the 4th set. But Maryland has no intention of making this easy for Northwestern as they tie it up at 25. Fast forward to match point, and boom! Reed finds the floor to send this game to set number 5. Northwestern up 14-11 in the final set. Match point, and who else but Rylan Reed? She comes up clutch again. Watch this. And the Cats start conference play with a big victory on the road.
A tough test for Northwestern as number 7 Wisconsin comes into Welsh Ryan Arena for an electric Saturday night volleyball matchup in front of a whiteout crowd. Early in the first set, serve comes over from the Badgers. Lauren Carter sets up Alexa Rousseau for the huge left-handed kill for the Cats, 4th point of the game. But this set was all Washington. Charlie Furbringer with the perfect ace right on the baseline to win the first set for Wisconsin 25-16. Second set action in Evanston, NU receives to Rousseau, who sets it cross court to Rylan Reed for the big hit. The dig goes up and lands just out of bounds for the Wildcat point. But again, it was the Badgers dictating play. Drew Wright's dig leads to a Lily Wagner hit that's cushioned well by Wisconsin, and Anna Schmreck is set up for the set-winning kill. Badgers up 2-0. Third set volleyball, bad receive from Wisconsin, sets up an easy kill for Boussaint Hazan. Good start to the third for the Cats. But the Cats are down big, trying to stay in the match. Carter Booth is blocked at the net, but Wisconsin recovers. 3 balls to Northwestern, who sets up Summers, but she is blocked. Big time play by the Badgers. They go up 8. Game point Wisconsin. Navarrette's serve clips the net. Wisconsin digs, and Carter Booth seals the deal with a booming hit. What a way to win the game. Number 7 Wisconsin comes to Evanston and beats Northwestern in straight sets to advance to 7-4, while NU falls to 3-7. Tough loss for the Cats. The 3-7 Wildcats hope to rebound from their tough loss when they host Purdue on Friday at 7 p.m.
And when we come back, we'll talk soccer, golf, and how you can catch the Cats in action this weekend.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back to Sports Night. Let's head back to the lake to talk soccer.
Men's soccer got off to a 4-0 start this season, the best in program history. But when they entered conference play, things started going downhill. The Cats look to bounce back as they travel to East Lansing to take on Michigan State. The Cats take the field in East Lansing with a 5-4-0 record on the season, but still seeking their first conference win. They'll take on a Michigan State Spartans team with a similarly even 3-4-2 record, coming off a statement win against number 15 ranked UCLA. Slow goings early on in the first half, both teams jockeying for possession, but the Spartans come down with the ball. Richie Ludwig finds Jake Spatafora deep in enemy territory, and Bryce LaBelle slides into him to pick up the yellow card. Tough blunder for the Cats. Still no score as the clock ticks to half. Michigan State will toss the ball in one last time as Northwestern tries in vain to get something going. Both teams set to regroup for the second half of play. About midway through the second half, it's Michigan State possession. That ball is deep, pursued by Spadafora. He tries to find a teammate and gets it to Jack Gugamas, who shoots and scores. The Spartans strike first to get on the board. The Northwestern offense stays inactive late in the game as they just take one shot attempt before this corner kick by Colin McCamey in the final 3 minutes. It'll go up in the air and nothing going once again for the Wildcats. And that'll be all from Old College Field in East Lansing as the Cats stay searching for their first conference victory and both teams return to a 500 record. Russell Payne's squad will look to get back in the win column when they host Trine University on Sunday afternoon.
After picking up their first conference point against Maryland last week, the 5-win women's squad faces a tough Iowa team at the top of their game. Women's soccer hosted number 18 Iowa on Sunday. The Cats attempt to notch their first win of the Big Ten season. First-year Alex Fallon calls for the pass and gets in behind the Hawkeyes defense. It was not to be, though, as it was easily saved by Macy Enneking. Just seconds later, the Hawkeyes driving the other way. El Otto tries to squeeze past the Cats defenders, but the shot is off target. And that was the feel of the first half. Neither squad was able to get much started. It seemed destined to be a defensive struggle, 0-0. Just over half an hour left in regulation, and the Cats take a free kick into the box. The cross goes astray, but Northwestern is awarded a penalty kick. Grad student Josie Alessino lines it up, and she zips it in the corner right past Enneking, and just like that, the Cats are up 1-0. That lead would not last, however. Iowa swings the ball down the side of the field. Otto cuts through the Cats defense like a hot knife through butter. She would not be denied this time around. All tied 1-1. Time dwindling down in the second half, the Hawkeyes corner goes right over the hands of junior Riley Fitzpatrick, and the Cats defense cannot stop Iowa from breaking the deadlock. There were no late match heroics in the cards, and the Cats lose to the Hawkeyes 2-1. Northwestern falls to 5-6-2 on the season. After a heartbreaking loss, Northwestern will travel to Minneapolis to take on Minnesota on Friday.
Fresh off a Big Ten championship last season, Northwestern's men golf had a slow start to fall competition, finishing 11th and 13th in their first two tournaments. The team returned home for the Wyndon Memorial Classic and had its first strong showing of the season, placing third. Senior Cami Adam led the way with a fifth-place finish, shooting 2 under par. Niall Shields-Donegan shot a career-low 4 under par in his final round to secure a 12th-place finish, while Daniel Zvard finished in 15th to secure 3 top 20 finishes for the Cats. Next up is a trip to Scotland, where the Cats will compete in the St. Andrews Links Collegiate, with the final round taking place at the historic Old Course. The tournament starts on October 14th.
Earlier this week, women's golf played in its second tournament of the fall, the Windy City Collegiate Classic in nearby Wilmette, Illinois. As a team, the Cats finished 4th in a 15-team field, with 4 individual Northwestern golfers finishing in the top 30. They ended the tournament's first round with a combined 16 over par round, but came right back in round 2 with a 1 under performance, becoming one of 3 teams in the tournament to shoot an under par round. The standouts for the Cats included first Sin Tai Lin, who finished 5th at 3 over par, Diana Lee and Ashley Yun, who tied for 22nd, and Lauren Nguyen, who finished 29th. Northwestern was the top finisher among unranked teams, trailing only number 12 Arizona State, number 4 South Carolina, and number 2 USC on the final leaderboard. They'll travel to St. Andrews, Scotland to take part in the St. Andrews Links Collegiate starting on October 14th.
And here's how you can catch the Cats. This weekend, field hockey looks to remain undefeated as they take on Rutgers.
Volleyball will try to bounce back when they welcome Purdue to the Wells for a tough Big Ten game.
And football takes on Indiana in what is a huge game by the lake.
Don't go anywhere just yet. We have Northwestern's top 3 plays of the week coming up.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back to Sports Night. It's been a great show so far, but don't worry, you're not done with us just yet.
And without further ado, here are your plays of the week.
Although it was a few weeks ago, at number 3, Northwestern facing off against EIU, and Joseph Hyman II rips off a huge run, bouncing off a couple defenders and finding his way into the end zone.
At the 2 spot, Northwestern Volleyball in a tight one in College Park. They're looking to grab a final point to come out with a win. Alexa Rousseau sets it perfectly to Rylan Reed, who smashes it and gives the Wildcats a huge win over the Terrapins.
And at number 1, the Cats in a close one against 4th-ranked Iowa, and Ashley Sessa with a beauty through the defender's legs before nonchalantly flipping it into the goal for a Northwestern score. And what a way to start the quarter, Michael. Thank you so much for a great first show.
Anna, it's been a blast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at @NNN_sports and Twitter at NNN Sports. For Anna Watson, I'm Michael Capobianco. You've been watching Sports Night. Have a good night.